Hi everyone, welcome to today's edition of Migrating Enterprise Database Lab. My name is Mustafa. For today, we are exploring performing an online database migration. It's a good strategy to use third-party tools and strategic partners to help with your database migration projects. Google has a four-step implementation methodology which consists of access, plan, deploy, and optimize. There is a third-party tool called Qwiklabs, which is an automated assessment tool that helps in the first two steps, which are the access and the plan. Qwiklabs helps to find dependencies and dependents and make recommendations for which Google database and APIs you should pick as targets. Striim, on the other hand, which would be our main focus for this lab, helps with deployment step. Striim is a comprehensive streaming ETL platform that enables online database migration and continuous streaming replication from on-premise and cloud data sources to Google Cloud Data Services through a graphical drag and drop interface. It also allows users to do online database migration, and it handles the transferring and synchronization of database. While Qwiklabs, which is an automated tool, analyzes the sources, the database configuration, attributes, schemas, objects, and proprietary features. This helps to build the initial plan required for a successful migration project. Striim provides an easy-to-use interface for transferring data between databases. Striim allows you to stream data between a target and a source. Many targets and sources are supported on Striim, and you can also do data transformation within the pipeline using SQL. Typically, an emission data transfer is done to move the bulk of the historical data. Then, Striim captures data changes on the source in real time and synchronizes them with the new target database. During the synchronization period, you can migrate clients to the new database, while eventually all the database will have no clients and it can be retired. When you are using Striim, you can even transfer data between different database types. Striim supports many different heterogeneous targets and sources, which are not limited to only relational database. It can also be used with big data warehousing and streaming analytics targets, as well as sources. Striim can be easily installed in Google Cloud from the Google Cloud Marketplace, and after the server is set up, a simple configuration is just run. And that's an high-level overview of what we are going to be discussing today. For today, once again, we're exploring performing an online database migration, and as usual, let's get started. Before we start our lab, here is an high-level overview of the architecture that Striim consists of. So for the left-hand side, there's a CDC part where there's continuous integration from online sources or either cloud data sources or anything on-premise to Google Cloud, which is on the right-hand side. And you can do a connection between them, either a continuous streaming or the source and the target platform. So let's get started with our lab. Click on Start Lab and select my robot. After that, we'll open our lab details in an incognito window. Then I'll copy my password. My email gets copied automatically. Click on Next. Input my password here. Then I understand. I'm just trying to sign into my dashboard. So here's my dashboard. And I'm also going to agree to the terms and conditions here. Okay, that's fine. So for tax 1, let's take a look at the setup and requirements if there's anything we need to do. Okay, let's activate our cloud share with the gcloud auth list. You click on activate cloud share to activate your cloud share, and you configure the necessary settings in the cloud share. Then continue. Yeah, I got it. So it's provisioning my cloud shell machine, and after that it will connect to my cloud shell instance. So I can make the necessary configurations just to see the Qcloud authorization list. So authorize my cloud shell, and after that I'll run the Qcloud config list project to list the project that we are currently on. Okay, that's fine. And as you can see, we're on the Qwiklabs GCP 01138 this project. So that's the project name. So for this lab, that for this lab, you are given access to two projects, two GCP projects, and here are they. So when I click on all, you can see we have the Qwiklabs resources project and we have the Qwiklabs GCP project. So this is the one we want to use, and this is the one we actually signed in with here. You can see the check mark. So that's fine. That's what this access to do. So the next thing we want to do is we want to activate a default compute region on our cloud shell, and we are using US Central 1 here with this command. When I copy it, paste it here. So I've activated US Central 1 to be my complete region here. Then I'm also going to install an SQL Server client that would allow easy communication to the SQL Server instance. So these are just a series of code to do necessary configuration for the SQL Server client. And specify the appropriate path. So you can see, then I'm going to do the sudo apt-get update to make sure it is updated. Okay, that's done. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to install the SQL Server client also. You can see it installing it. So here I'm going to choose yes. Here I'm going to type in yes. And it's done also yes. Setting up everything as appropriate. I'm just going to wait for it to get set up finished. Okay, we are done. So the next thing is to also put the necessary part, the part I want the SQL Server client to call from, and I've configured that. So the next thing we want to do is we want to see the external IP address of our SQL Server client, and to do that, you have to go to your compute engine that's been created for you typically, your compute engine under virtual machine instances. So it's loading, and you can see this is it, this is the name. So to view the external IP address, you click on view network details, or you can just click into that particular SQL Server client. So and here is the external IP address. This is the external IP address here. This is the internal IP address. So it's still the same external IP address as the network interface details, and we'll take note of this. So the next thing I want to do is want to export anywhere we see this value, this SQL SRVIP, we want to use the external IP address of our SQL Server client so that we don't need to call it every time. Anytime we just call this particular environmental variable, it would refer to our external IP address here. So copy it and make sure you change the path. Make sure you also leave the inverted commas. So copy this, come back here and paste it here, and click enter. So you have that exported already. So the next thing is also to view the existing data in our SQL Server client, which is in our SQL Server, so which is this other table. So to view it, we use this command. Let's see the data that are here. I'm just going to drag this up a little bit. So you can see the data that we have on our SQL Server client from 1001 to 1010. So that's fine. So we would pause our Cloud Shell by using the cat command to pause our Cloud Shell because we want to do some other things. So now let's take a look at our Spanner database. So for those of you who did not maybe check the first part, the high level overview of what we want to do is we want to migrate information from our SQL Server client, which is online, with the use of the Striim platform, and migrate our data from the database into our Spanner database. So let's take a look at the Spanner database we're using for this lab and see if there is any data on it currently. We can ascertain that there's data on the SQL Server client, but let's see if there's data on the Spanner database. So to do that, you just let me duplicate one more tab so that I can have my external IP address here when anytime I need it. Just going to duplicate it. It's duplicating already. Then I can navigate to my Spanner database here from the navigation menu, more product. So this is Spanner, and you can search for Spanner here also. But I have my Spanner here. I click on it. So here's the name of the database that I'm using. It's created for us. And I also click inside this Streamlab. Let's see if there's any data on it at the moment. So this is the other tables. Click on the others table. And here we have, you can see the schema. You can also check out the indexes, the secondary indexes. And this is what we are concerned with, the data. And you can see there is no rows here. And since there's no data, we also cannot query for anything when there's no data. So it's empty at the moment, and that's fine. So we've confirmed that. So the next thing we want to do is for the first task, we want to set up the Striim server. So when we set up the Striim server will be the one to do the online migration. So let's set up a Striim server. To set up a Striim server, you have to go to the navigation menu and marketplace. But typically when you go from the marketplace, so here is the marketplace. When you go from the marketplace, you may not be able to see the exact Striim server that they ask you to use in this lab. So I'm just going to try that once again and see. There are a whole lot of Striim service here, but there's a particular Striim server that we want to use, a Striim service we want to use. So let's just go to my marketplace. And I can search for Striim. Click on enter. So we have Striim subscription, Striim bureau, Striim this, Striim that. So there are a whole lot of Striim services. But the one we are interested in, we can just get the link from this. So I'll just copy the link address here so that I'm very sure of what we are doing. Then I can replace everything with just this link address so that it's open into that for me automatically. Yes. So here's our Striim. This is the tool we are using, and this is the exact one. So we click on launch. It's opening our Striim deployment for us, and you can see it. So the default zone that we set our Cloud Shell is US Central 1A. So I'm going to change this to US Central 1A also. I'm going to leave the remaining as their default value and then authorize this and accept the terms and service. Thereafter, I can click on deploy. So it's deploying my Striim service and just going to wait for it till everything get deployed. It's deploying everything we've been needing for this lab. Yes, so our Striim service has been deployed successfully. Yes, and yeah, we've done all this here. Yeah, and also we can see our site address, our instance, and everything. So let's confirm if we've completed this task. Yeah, and you can see the check mark which shows that we've completed it. So the next thing we are going to do is we are going to also set all these default variables. So anytime we see Striim VM underscore name, we want to use our Striim instance name. And anytime we see the Striim VM underscore zone, we want to use our zone name. So we have to set this environmental variable also in our Cloud Shell. So to do that, we go back to our Cloud Shell, and Cloud Shell is here. And to stop the cat command, which has paused the Cloud Shell, I'll use Ctrl C. And after using Ctrl C, my Cloud Shell is now active back. Then I can export all this command and change the templated value to the value of mine. So this is my Striim instance. I have to copy this. Make sure there are no white spaces. And go back to my Cloud Shell and paste it here. And I'll also export the second one also. I have to change this part to the zone name. And this is my zone name, the US Central 1A. Copy it here. Paste it here. After that, click on the enter. So here we've exported all the values that we have. And now we can also pause our Cloud Shell again by using the cat command. So it has been paused. So we'll go back to our Striim marketplace with deployment manager, and we can decide to visit the site. So let's visit the site and see what we have here. It's launching this, and I can agree to the terms and service here. I can also read this terms and service, everything. Just going to accept it. Then I would input all the necessary values here. So here are the values this lab want us to use. I'm just going to copy them. For the first name, for example, here. For the last name, user, just copy everything and put them here. For the email, user at example.com. Then the company name is example. These are just some default variables, some neutral variables. If you are doing your personal one, you would use what works best for you. So the admin password, the Striim-password. So use that same password for everything here. Okay, and also just fine. And after that, we click on save and continue. So leave this as default. You don't have to put anything in this license key. Just click on save and continue. And after that, launch the Striim deployment. So it waits for it to start up a server and so that we can start building our application on the Striim platform. Is it loading? Yeah, so here is also on our login details. So it may take a while before you reach here. Password every time. I'm here now. So I can click on login. So it's loading our resources and our login details. So here we have. So the default username should be the admin, and the password is Striim-password. So the lab instruction, and you can always get that from there. So here we are. We've seen that we've logged in. So just to take a look at it, this is the login details. The user should be the admin. On the user part, you type admin. After the password, you use the Striim password. So for task 2, let's set up Striim access to the SQL server. Let's make Striim connected to our SQL server. So the first thing we have to do is we have to download the SQL Server JDBC driver on our Cloud Shell. No, so we are not running that on our Cloud Shell. So the next thing is we want to set up Striim access to SQL Server. And for the first time, the first thing we have to do is go back to our Striim deployment and click on SSH. So the SSH is still going to come back. Then you click on SSH and see it will open an SSH interface for us. And thereafter, we would now download the SQL Server JDBC driver on our SSH platform. So let's wait for it to get open. It's transferring the SSH keys to the virtual machine. Here we are. Run paste the command, and you can see it has downloaded the driver. Then the next thing is to copy the archive file to the Striim library path, and also to change ownership. So I'm just going to paste all the series of command here, and it has done that. So the next thing we'll do is we'll restart this Striim server so that it can recognize the new JDBC driver that we installed on it. So let's restart it. And since we've restarted the server, by default, this connection should be distorted. So I can see that the connection to this server was lost, which is fine. We've actually restarted the server. So we can exit this SSH for now and come back later. So let's see if we've done this. Yeah, and so you can see that we've done this. So here you can wait a while and keep refreshing this page till you get build up. But after a while, it's going to you can just keep refreshing. I'm just going to wait a bit and come back here. Okay. So the next thing I want to do for task 3 is to create a spanner access key. So since we want to access our Spanner database, we need to like set up a service account that will have the required permission to access the Spanner database, and that is the service account that would now link with our Striim service. So the first thing we want to do is to create a service account. So let's go back to our Cloud Shell. Here we are on our Cloud Shell. So our Cloud Shell is paused at the moment. So to unpause it, use Ctrl C and paste this command. Click on Enter. So you can see it has created our service account for us. Then we would also export this our service account part to this service account Striim_spanner. So let's export that. We've exported that. Then the next thing, we'll also export our project name. So the project name for this lab will now be stored under this project. So and the next thing is to also set the required high-AM conditions. So what are the high-AM rules that we want to give this service account that we created? And typically we are giving it a database user, so it's a member for a database user. So we are giving database user role. So paste this command also. You can see we've granted it that policy. So and the next thing is to also get our also we should create our service account key in JSON. So creating our service account key in JSON. And here is it. And then after that, you can now go back to our SSH on the Striim server and check the identity we have now. So let's confirm if this is now live. Click on enter. So you can see it now works. Just give it a bit and come back there. So for the username, just type in admin as usual, and the password we are using Striim-password. So you can see we are now logging back into our Striim platform, which is fine. Okay, so let's go to our Striim deployment and click on SSH once again. So let's confirm our identity on the SSH platform. It's loading our SSH and it's transferring the SSH keys to the virtual machine. Now establishing connection to our SSH server. So here we are. So you type the command who am I. So, and you can see this is the identity of us on our Striim server, this student, this. Okay, so the next thing we'll also use this, we would also make this value, we would also represent this value in a templated variable. So for the next thing, so we would export, anytime we call username, we want these details that shows on our identity for our Striim deployment should get called. So I'm just going to replace this who am I here with this value here. So and this is equal to sign. Paste it. It has represented that variable, and thereafter let's create a directory and change ownership to the directory. So that, and you can see that we are using this username that we now that we templated here. We are using it now in this part so that we can grant this directory, this variable, this user access to this directory. So we've done that, and the next thing we have to do is we would close our SSH, and to close our SSH you can just use exit, and we've close our XSH. So the next thing we have to do is go to our Cloud Shell command and we want to copy the JSON file to the Striim server. So the JSON the service account key that we created in JSON, we want to copy it to the Striim server, and we use this command. So here we are on our Cloud Shell. Paste this command here. Click on enter, and yeah, just going to authorize this. So I don't want to use a passphrase, so I'll just click on enter. I don't want to use a passphrase. And here we are, it has copied, it has done a secure copy of the JSON of the service account key in JSON, which is fine. So the next thing we want to do is we also want to move the JSON file to the Striim virtual machine and want to use this directory. So using this directory helps us because this is the directory that will be specifying when we are on our Striim data, when we are on our Striim platform and we are setting the necessary configuration. So let's just copy this. Paste it here, then click on enter. It has copied it. The next thing is let's confirm if what we copied is actually there. You can see that it's there. This is the path that we set there. It shows that it's on this path, which is fine. Okay, so that's all for now. You can confirm if you've completed this part. And also don't forget to pause your Cloud Shell by using the cat command. So I'm going to pause it once again. Okay, that's fine. So for task 4, we want to create an online database migration. So now we'll be working majorly on the Striim platform and get started with our work. So going back to our Striim web page, we are concerned with the application. So click on the app and we'll click on create app. After click on create app, we'll start from scratch. And the name for our app as chosen by this app, we should use batch. So let's use batch. Replace this with batch, then click on save. So here we are, you can see this is the page, this is the platform that we are using to create our app. And since we are doing a batch service and we are migrating we are using a database as the source at the moment. So let's use this database as the source. Let's bring it in. So it's a drag and drop. I'm dragging it from the source, dragging it into this workspace. So after that, after dragging the database style into the application canvas, so we'd set this information here. The name is batch source. The name the lab wants us to use batch source. So we call the app batch. So this is the source part. We'll still configure the target part in the next instruction. So for the connection URL, we copy this and kindly note that this primary address here, it's a templated variable and it's supposed to represent the external IP address of our SQL Server client. So don't forget the one we used before. So when we go back to our compute engine part, you can see this external IP address we have here. I'm just going to copy it and then come back to our Striim and replace this primary address with the external IP address. So I'm replacing this. After that, for the username, I'm going to use Striim. And for the password, I'll use Striim password. So after that, under the advanced setting, I'm going to set this as my tables part. So click on advanced settings for tables, put this command here. And for the output to copy this and just scroll down for the new output to paste this here. Yeah, which is fine. So after that, you can scroll. The next thing is to just click on save. Yeah, so you can see that our application has been saved. That's for the source part. For the source part, yeah. So the next thing is we can deploy it. Let's deploy it. So click on this created and deploy the app. So leave the default value here and click on deploy. So after it's deployed, Yeah. So after it's deployed, you can click on this thing and maybe let's see if you can see anything here. So this is just graph view. Then after that, you can start our app. So let's see, starting the sources. And you can see that immediately we started our sources, it could already pick everything we have here. It could already pick everything we have on our SQL Server client. You know, when we checked the data on our SQL Server client, we had from 1001 to 1010. So you can see it's just the same thing here from 1001 to 1010, which shows that it has successfully connected to the SQL Server client that we have, the SQL Server engine. So that's fine. Yeah, so this is just to test, like you'd see. So the next thing we're going to do is I'm just going to stop it and undeploy it and create a target for it since it could already see it. So I'm going to stop the app. After stopping it, I'm also going to undeploy. Yeah, so after doing that, then I'll click on this plus sign here and create a target component for it. After creating a target component, we would also have the necessary values that we can make here to set it up. So for our name, we use the batch target. For the service account key, this is the path that we set to our service account key in JSON. So I'm going to specify that. Okay. I think, yeah, before that, for the adapter, we have to use Spanner. So since we are moving this from this SQL Server client to our Spanner database, so we are going to give this adapter a Spanner writer. So it's going to be able to write to our Spanner database. Okay, that's fine. For the service account key, we copy the command that we paste the command we copied the previous time. For the instance ID, this is the name of the Spanner instance that we are using. Make sure there are no white space in the front. Okay. And then for the tables, this is the table. This is the path to the table. Paste it here. So after that, click on save once again. So just save it. Yeah. So after saving that, then we can now deploy our app once again. Deploy our app. You can decide to also view and see. So after deploying the app, then we start our app. So now it's supposed to move this output from here to the other one. And you can see it's showing first event received, connection successful. So this is total input 10, and it will be writing them to our Spanner database. So it may take a while for it to write it because it's not immediate. It's not like a streaming something. It would get there. So let's just wait like for 1 minute. So then after that, now let's go back to our Spanner database and see if the information that we want are there already. So here we are on the data. You can decide to just go back to your Spanner and go in once again from the scratch. So the Spanner, the Stream Spanner Lab. Then you click on the Stream Lab. After clicking on the Stream Lab, click on the others. Then yeah, so click on data. Concern about the data now. And you can see it's loading content. Yeah, and now we have our data there. So we've successfully moved the data from the SQL Server part to this Spanner database through using the Striim platform. So before when we checked it, there was no data here, and now we have the data here from 1001 to 1010, which is what we want to do. And we can also query now. So to query, I'm just going to copy the command from here. So this is just select all from the others table. And you can see that the name of this table, the name of the data table here is others. For those of you who are familiar with SQL, this is just basic SQL. So see the schema. So this is the order. And when we were checking it before, you notice that going to go back a little bit. Notice that the table name is others. So this is the table name others. Come back here. click on query, then paste this command here and on. It's going to show all the information that we have here, which is 1001 to 1010, which is fine. And that's good. So it's a batch pipeline and that's successfully connected. And we've seen it. So there are total inputs and the output is also 10. So the next thing is to stop the app. After stopping the app, then undeploy the app. So we are not using it again. And that's fine. So we would create another app for the next task. We would also create a continuous SQL server to the Spanner database pipeline. So we want to create another app, and now this one will be continuous. You can add more data and you see it get replicated on our Spanner database. So let's see. So go back to the apps, then click on create new, then start from scratch once again. The name of this app, as suggested by this lab, is to use CDC, like more like continuous, yeah, continuous. So let's do the CDC here. Then after that, you click on save. Yeah, so it's empty once again. And for this one, instead of dragging the database style, we will now drag the SQL Server client. Yeah, so let's come here and see. Yeah, so this is the one we are dragging, SQL Server CDC, because now we are using a continuous. Once you create a continuous source, so drag the SQL Server CDC, drag it into this part. You can just confirm here. So we are dragging the SQL Server CDC and we've done that. So as usual, we'll change the name with all these values that are here. So we'll call this one CDC source. For the connection URL, copy this, paste it here. And just like the previous one, this primary address is the templated variable. So we are supposed to change it to the external IP address of our SQL Server client. So come back here, copy it, this one, the same one, copy it. After copying it, go back to your, replace this with these values. You can see some trailing white space here, so I'm just going to remove it. Yeah, and that's fine. Yeah, is any trailing white space at the beginning? Try to remove it also. For the tables, we are using DBO orders. That's fine. For under the advanced settings, we'll set our username and password. So show advanced settings. You can see this is the source. Yeah, for the password, we are using Striim password. That's fine. And for the output tool, we are using the CDC in process. So just scroll down a little bit for the output tool. Under new output, paste this in. And thereafter you can save. So we've configured the source. Configured the source. So thereafter I would also configure the target path. So to do that, click on this sign here and click on this plus sign. So we'll connect our next target. So our target here is still also the Spanner database that we are using, and we'll name this target CDC target. And under the adapter, we'll choose Spanner, that's Spanner writer. For the service account key, you copy the service account key, the path to it. So you copy it here. For the instance ID, copy this instance ID also. And for the tables, copy this table here. So we have that. And thereafter we'll save. So you can show advanced settings. Let's see if there's anything we are changing here. Yeah, so not really. Not changing anything here. Leave it that way. Then click on save. Yeah, so we've configured our target, we've configured our source, we've configured our target. Next thing, as you can guess, is to deploy the app. Yeah, so let's deploy the app. Leave this as a default variable, click on deploy. It's deploying the application for us. And after it's deployed, we can start our app. You can decide to, okay, let's wait for it to get started. You can decide to review how it is coming. So this is This is the connection that we've set, and now it's running. So wait a while, and what we are going to do is we are going to go to our cloud share and now add new variables. So let's add new variables and let's see if this is, if this is going to automatically fix it. We've done the batch load and we've read from 1001 to 1010. So now let's add more variables. So you can see here I'm adding 1011. Let's see if it's going to pick it. So I'm going to go to my cloud shell. Cloud shell is here. So my cloud shell is currently on cat. So I'm going to unpause it by using Ctrl C. And after that, paste the command. So this command is adding a new data, 1011, and all this information here. And it's click on enter. So you can see here it's showing one role affected. So let's see if our flow admin can pick it. So you can see it's picked it. It has picked it. That's total input. That is now a one new input, and it's also going to output it also to our database. So let's come to our database and let's see if we can see that particular data now. So to confirm, we can run it again, and let's see. Let's just run it again. So it's not yet here at the moment. So let's also come here. That's still not pick it to the output. So you can just wait for like 1 minute and come back and see if it picks it or less than that. So let's come here again and run this command. Yeah, so you can see it has picked it. Let's go back here and see. Now it has outputted it here. It shows. So this is it. Yeah. You can see now that we have the 1011 results here. So which is fine. So let's add a few more data and let's see if it also gets showed. So you can add a few more data here. So this is just to run the command and say order ID in descending order. Still typically the same thing. Since we can see all the data at one stretch, but you can replace this command here so that it's going to show the order ID in descending order. So when you run it here, this 1011 should come up. So you can see it's up now. Still the same thing. Yeah, that's fine. So let's add more data like I said previously. So go down. So now we are adding 1012, 1013, 1014, and 1015 to it. And let's see if it picks it. Just add it consecutively. Added 1012. Adding 1013. Adding 1014. Adding 1015. Yeah, so added 4 new inputs. So should make with this one here before should make 5. Should make 5. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So now we're adding 4 new inputs. So you can see that it has made 5. So it was 1 there before, 1 input, 1 output. With the new form, we have 5 inputs and still 1 output, but still going to change like we know. So let's go to our orders. Maybe you can just think of refreshing this thing if it picks it, but also it should pick it automatically. So without even refreshing, it has picked the output. That it has now outputted the 4 additional data, making 5. So if you go to our cloud, if you go to our spanner now, we should be able to see those additional entries here. So let me just run this command once again. And voila, you can see these are the new additional entries we have here. So we have the 1012, 1013, 1014, 1015, which shows that we've created a pipeline that could pick our data from our SQL Server client and migrate it to our Spanner database. We've done the batch load and now we are doing real-time load. So I think that's all for this lab. Yeah, that's typically all for this lab. And we've successfully set up a streaming pipeline from SQL Server to Spanner, and we use Striim to achieve an online database migration. So this is just one way of performing an online database migration. You can explore some other ways, but Striim is a good platform that you can use. You can read more on the documentation on their website and see the various sources and targets that you have. But I can assure you, you have a whole lot of sources and targets that you can check from. And Thanks for staying through to the end of this lab. If you enjoyed this lab, comment your thoughts in the comment section, like this lab, and share it to your loved ones. And see you in the next lab. Bye for now.